Now, though, heavy fighting is continuing in the Syrian town of Kobane at the border with Turkey. Latest reports say Kurdish fighters did manage to halt an attack by Islamic State militants. We've got some pictures that were posted online by a group affiliated to Islamic State. They show militants. This is inside Kobane, which gives you a sense of what is going on the ground. Now, on Friday, Islamic State fighters overran the Kurdish military headquarters in the town. They've now all but encircled Kobane itself, despite the continuing airstrikes from the US-led coalition. But you can see they're very much in evidence right on the ground in the streets. Let's just pick up on what is the latest situation. The BBC's Quentin Somerville is at the Turkey-Syria border and joins us now. Quentin, the pictures tell their own story from in the streets of Kobane itself. Well, what is the latest as you understand it?
David, it's quite hazy here today. That means it's quite difficult to see Kobane itself. Also means that airstrikes from US aircraft will be more difficult, not impossible though. But let me just explain. Over the past few days, this battle has ebbed and flowed in one direction and then another, and there are days when it looks like it's going in the favour of Islamic State, and certainly that was the case yesterday. And then there are days like today when the Kurdish militia again seem to have had the upper hand, thanks in part to those airstrikes. There's a great deal less fighting today than we've seen in the last few days. I say seen, but I mean heard. We can hear some automatic gunfire, we can hear the occasional explosions coming from the town, but nothing like what we've seen in the past few days. The big question here, David, really is how effective are those airstrikes? And when we speak to fighters and when we speak to politicians who are still holding out in Kobane, they say they need more airstrikes. But the big question seems to be is, will they be enough? Because the Islamic State are easily resupplying themselves here. That's allowed them to try and push forward to take a key point within Kobane. If they manage to take that, it's a crossing point with Turkey. If they took that, resupply would be very difficult, exit from Kobane would be very difficult, and the town would be encircled. Right now, though, it doesn't look like that's in any danger of happening, because the Kurdish militia have had some successes overnight.
Which is a significant development. Quentin, thank you very much for that. I want to turn to, back in the studio here, the BBC's Kurdish analyst, Guney YILDIZ. Guney, you've been speaking to some of the significant players, Kurdish, inside Kobane. What are they telling you?
Yes, the Kurdish officials inside the town, as well as local sources on the border, have been telling me that the ISIS has intensified its attacks on especially the southern and eastern fronts of the city, and they've been frustrated to see that ISIS is still capable of resupplying their fighters and weapons despite the airstrikes from their bases in Raqqa, Jarablus and Tel Abyad, which are encircling the city. The most significant development to watch here is, as Quentin mentioned, is whether IS fighters will be able to take over this border crossing into Turkey, because there's a huge pressure on Turkey from inside and international community to open a safe corridor into that town. If ISIS manages to take over that border gate, that corridor will not work, because that's the only place where international aid can
actually get in. But let me just ask you, but two things really. Who are these individuals you're speaking to? Can you give us an idea of their seniority, if you like, and how much longer are they prepared to hang in, because an awful lot of people are getting out while they can?
Exactly. I've been speaking to, since last 5 days, the co-leader of the PYD, which runs effectively all three Kurdish enclaves across northern Syria, and also senior YPG commanders, a senior female commander, and also today I've spoken to Interior Minister Ibrahim Kurdo and some local sources along the border, some journalists who have been inside Kobane up until 2 days ago. And they've been telling me that it's important to have an exit route to evacuate remaining civilians who are refusing to leave. But for themselves, they say they're prepared to fight until the end. They have no intention to leave the city.
We've got to be, let's be crude about this. We're looking at pictures now which, OK, they're not our pictures, but they point towards IS militants on the ground, walking through the streets in some sense of control. The people you're speaking to are going to have to be true to their word. They may well have to fight to the end, it seems.
Exactly. I've seen those pictures too yesterday. It's apparently at the outskirts of Kobane, and right. As you have mentioned, they've taken over this military headquarters, but it's not a main military headquarters. It's a domestic security force, and it's on the outskirts of the
city, but it's been 5 days since ISIS managed to enter the city. But apparently, Kurdish fighters are able to hold them off. I mean, they couldn't get into the city center despite a lot of claims by ISIS fighters that the fall of Kobane is imminent, and especially as well in Pentagon and Turkish president were predicting that the city is about to fall any minute.
We often refer to Kobane as strategically important. Symbolically, how much does this mean for the Kurdish community in particular?
Actually, it will have a significant importance, implications both for developments in Turkey and also in northern Syria. Kurds feel that since it was the first city they have pushed back Assad forces back in 2012, their gains could be reversed if Kobane would fall there. It will mean actually it's a make or break moment for Kurds on the ground, which established self-rule for the first time. And many people see Kurds as the only effective force on the ground, as a non-jihadist force that could take out ISIS.
OK, Guney, we'll keep right across that. Thank you very much indeed for that.